Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Friday, July 14th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this would be a video for you. First off, a couple clarifications. Number one, the price you see over here will be moving around and changing, and then the candlestick you see right there will also be moving around. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here, as they're called, represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, NKLA, and what an absolute monster today. And as I just talked about, as I speak, you can see this thing is actually approaching those highs. So is this thing going to keep on moving? We shall see. Still 13 minutes until the market officially closes, so it could very well be higher than this. So when you pull up the chart, you'll have to just see whether or not the price broke above that level. But that's not really the whole point on this one. The point here, and it goes back to what a watch list is all about. A watch list is about finding unique, finding interesting situations, and not randomly rushing out and buying stuff, but watching it. So my question to you is just simply this. Do you find massive surges of volume like this, where the price then absolutely explodes upwards? Are these things interesting to you? Is that something that you would consider a worthwhile movement? And if so, then for that reason alone, I would say NKLA, belongs on the watch list. Now, if you are a pullback player, an interesting level for that could potentially be down there around the $1.95 mark. If you're looking to play breakouts, I mean, assuming the price does close below that area, that could be a breakout. But really at this point, that is, I don't want to say you're chasing the price, but it has moved a whole lot today. So depending on your risk tolerance, maybe waiting for a pullback would be better. But of course, the flip side of that is if this thing keeps ripping and roaring, then waiting for a pullback is just going to leave you sitting on the sideline. So that's where you got to figure out where you stand in regards to your strategies and analysis of the chart. But at the core, huge movement, huge volume, and it's a good price range that I know a lot of people are interested in, down below $5. Next one here, COIN, coin, an absolute monster here, and I'm going to keep it very short and sweet because essentially exactly what I just talked about, which is why I want to put these back to back, because same idea. Massive volume today, price essentially going straight up. So if you find this unique, if you find this interesting, then yes, you're definitely going to want to watch it headed into Friday. I will also once again talk about an area of support because yes, if you want to buy a pair, maybe, that's a little chasing. But like I said, if you prefer to play pullbacks, then an interesting pullback level in my mind down here around the 97.50 mark. But like I said, if you disagree and think, no, I think this thing's going to keep grinding, well, then maybe you do want to try to play some sort of breakout up around this area. But that's where it just circles back to whatever your analysis is going in. But at the end of the day, the biggest difference here is just the price range. Now we're talking about a stock a little over $100, so maybe you trade options and you could apply that here. But definitely two monster movers on monster volume. Next one here, ticker symbol MARA, and just an absolute monster on this one as this continues. I mean, a lot of monster movers. I think that's like the fourth time I've used the term monster, but it's true. I mean, just first off, look at the trend. If you're writing a textbook on trading and chart analysis and you need an example for the uptrend chapter, I mean, here you go. An absolutely beautiful uptrend. And the biggest takeaway here from, more so a pullback standpoint is if you do like to play pullbacks, then what stands out to me is that purple line there, which is the 50-period moving average. And you can see how the price has respected it so many times. I mean, just time after time after time. Right there, it dropped temporarily behind it, or excuse me, below it, before snapping back above. So that seems to be a good pullback area. With all that being said, there are no guarantees. So I'm not saying that if the price goes down to the purple line, then it is for sure guaranteed to bounce back up like it's done all those other times. All I am saying is it becomes a very rational thought on your part to think that the price could bounce. And that's what our job as traders is we want to avoid degenerate random gambles. And buying at the purple line, while it doesn't guarantee anything, nobody could accuse you of that being some random degenerate gambler because, I mean, you do have good logic behind it. As far as areas of resistance are concerned, I mean, I'm trying to figure out, but I think it's already broken through that trend line. Yeah, so let me actually change that. So really, like these other ones, essentially, it's up at these highs. Do you think that it's going to keep grinding? Do you want to wait for a pullback? So I guess I didn't really realize this one, but we've had now 3 in a row where big movements, we're sitting right up to the highs. Do you think this is the high? Do you think a pullback's coming? That'll be up to you. Next one here, RIOT, same exact thing as MARA. I know they're obviously not the same stock, but they're in their same exact category, and they basically mirror one another. But nonetheless, want to just get this mapped out. Same thing here, big movement, nice uptrend. Price is sitting at these highs, so I'm not going to repeat myself any further. I want to respect your time. So same general idea as what I just talked about with MARA, just simply a different ticker symbol. Next one, AMC. And as I speak, last 30 minutes here, you can see quite the eventful candle. You can see volume is much stronger than other periods. Watching down there, you can see the volume coming in very nicely right there. And the price did break above this area of resistance and is now back above it. So what I'm going to do here is adjust this area of resistance upwards, which is a good thing. Because when you ask yourself, well, what direction is this resistance being adjusted? I'm now going to adjust it right up to that level, which sits at $4.51. And whenever levels of, assuming you're bullish, of course, but whenever levels of resistance need to be adjusted in the upwards direction, that's always a good sign because it shows that the price is putting in higher highs, and that's what you want to see. So from a trend angle of things, that's what you have. You have higher lows and you have higher highs, and that's how uptrends are constructed. So moving forward from a resistance standpoint, keep an eye on $4.51. And then from the support side of things, as I've been talking about and we'll continue to talk about, I think the quickest way to go about this is to just to watch that purple line there, which you now know is a 50-period moving average. So as that line moves itself higher and higher, as long as the price remains above it, then you have to give the advantage to the bulls in terms of building a healthy uptrend. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. Or if you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. Now, one special note, it is a genuine live event. So a couple situations. Maybe you have a busy schedule. I have 5 kids, so I understand life can get busy. So maybe you already have something on your schedule this evening, or maybe you're just watching this Friday morning and you've completely missed the event. That's okay. Just send me an email to clay@clayjar.com and I'd be happy to send you a replay to the event. Now, if you can make it live, definitely go get signed up. But if you can't make it for whatever reason, like I said, email me and I will send you a link to the reply. All I ask is patience because it is a live event. So it does first need to happen. Then I have to get it uploaded, but then I'd be happy to send you a link to the replay. Next one, RIVN, and I'm going to keep this one relatively quick because there's not a whole lot to update, assuming you watched the past videos. But if you have not watched past videos, just very quickly, as I mapped out previously, there is this bigger wedge pattern that has formed. The top part of the pattern up here, the resistance, you can see did ultimately play a role in today. Price got up around that area and could never quite build and maintain any sort of momentum, and then the price, fell back below it. So that top of the pattern there still remains that key level of resistance. And then as far as supports, still all about that lower line right there. In the very near term, though, check out the purple line, that 50-period moving average. Looks how it provided a bounce point there, a couple bounce points there. So moving forward, that'll be the first, I think, little miniature question that a lot of people are probably asking themselves. Can that purple line continue to hold? If it does not, then I wouldn't be shocked at all to see the price go down there and test the trend line right there. And then if the price breaks below there, that's where things starts to get a little bit more spicy. But you also don't want to get too far ahead of yourself because, as of now, the price is staying above that purple line. But yeah, these are definitely going to be the 2 main levels to continue to watch moving forward. Next one, PLTR. Overall, a good-looking chart, but the keyword there being overall because I understand, given your perspective, you may disagree with that. If you are some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, and you bought right there, and your plan was to buy and sell within 7 minutes, well then yes, from that angle, the chart looks pretty rough because there was indeed a pullback from there. However, looking at the overall standpoint of things, let's say the price even comes down to that basically purple line there, and then find some support at that level. So, does something like this, comes down a little bit further, find some support. What would you still have? Again, emphasis now on from the overall standpoint. Well, you'd have a set of lows there, you'd have lows there, you'd have lows down here, you'd have lows even further down here. And if you envision each one of those as stair steps, what do you have? Well, from the overall standpoint, you still very clearly have stair steps progressing in the upwards direction. So that's why I say, is this a bad or good looking chart for you? Well, I have no idea because I don't know what your personal strategy going in was, but overall, like I said, preferably speaking, if the price can stay above that purple line, that would be best case scenario. As far as areas of resistance are concerned, key level seems to be right up there around $17.15. So keep an eye on that if this price does try to curl back upwards. Next one, TSLA Tesla, and this will mean more to those of you that watch past videos, but if you have, you know that I've been talking about that resistance trend line right there, and you can see that late day-to-day price came up here, actually got rejected by it one final time right there, but then on that next candle, the price finally got above there, and you can see that's what opened up the floodgates and up the price went. So a beautiful technical breakout right there. So I'll go ahead and get rid of these levels as they've now served their purpose. In terms of near-term levels moving forward after the breakout, first key level to watch from a preferable standpoint right there at 276.50. Nothing fancy, just that was a former area of resistance. So foundational rule in charting, when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. So keep an eye on that. And then in regards to areas of resistance, if this upwards move is going to continue, key level now right there at that trend line, which puts I guess you could, it's got a slight downwards angle to it, but really the resistance up there right around $280. But anyways, you look at it, very nice late day breakout of that trend line. Not just a question of can the momentum keep up and then bring it back up into the 280s. Next one, NIO, and this one, let me first make a statement that the overall trend, it is still fine. You can see right here, whoops, I'll get rid of these lines from a previous video I did, but overall the trend is still upwards. But the one thing to just keep in mind here, which is a little different, is that the price has now actually broken below and closed below that purple line there, the 50-period moving average. Now, does that guarantee that the price is going to just continue to collapse? Of course not. You can see right here, price closed below that purple line, and then everything turned out to be just fine. Does that mean that it'll for sure to be just fine here? Absolutely not. But it also does serve as a potential leading indicator of, okay, maybe there's some deeper weakness that is showing up, and maybe a bigger pullback is going to need to happen. So if a bigger pullback does happen, the next key level of support that in my mind stands out as a potential very important level is right down here at $10.50. So keep an eye on that. In terms of levels of resistance, nothing fancy here, just essentially where did the price tend to start to run out of steam over the past couple of days, and that was up here, like I said, give or take a few cents in either direction at 11.85. But for me, in my opinion, the most interesting dynamic and the most important dynamic is, okay, it's broken below that 50-period moving average. What does this mean? Are we looking at a deeper pullback here, or could the price snap right back upwards? We'll see what happens. Next one, TQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ market. So if you believe the NASDAQ market as a whole is going to rise, this one will also rise. And that is exactly what happened here on this one. I mean, gap up and then just continue to grind and grind. So I'm going to get rid of these lines, and we're going to have to go on essentially a hunt here. Not even that, because essentially, now it's been higher than this before, but for example, or for simplicity's sake, price is essentially sitting at blue sky breakout territory. But the one dynamic here that did occur during the last 30 minutes was the price made a push, and then had a pretty nasty collapse. Now, does that mean the entire chart's destroyed? Absolutely not. But it does give us now what I would argue is a well-defined resistance headed into Friday, which sits right up there at the high of that peak of $44, and we'll call it 35 cents. So that'll be the near-term level. Again, nothing complicated behind the logic other than that the fact is not only is that where the price stopped going up, but then you see there was a pretty big rejection from it. As far as supports are concerned and potential pullback locations, key level to watch mainly going to be right there at 43.35. So keep an eye on that if there is any sort of pullback. But as I've said, and just to continue to build context, that even if this thing does pull back, I don't mean that in like an overall bearish way, because I mean, this thing could theoretically pull all the way back here and still be putting in higher bases when you look at it from the grand scheme of things. So again, it's all about kind of what was your personal angle going into it. But in the near term, those would be more so levels that seem to have the most relevance in terms of more so like a trading standpoint. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw here, then I want you to get signed up for that free class. It'll be this evening, Thursday, July 13th at 7 p.m. Eastern time, so I hope to see you there. But like I said earlier, if you can't make it live for whatever reason, go ahead, send me an email to clay@claytrader.com, and I'd be happy to send you a link to the replay. But again, like I said, it is a genuine live event, so it's first got to happen, then I got to get it uploaded, and then I'd be happy to send it to you. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, please do two things for me. And very recently, you guys have been doing a great job with that. Hitting that like button, leaving a comment below, even if it's just a smiley face, saying hi. But hitting the like button, leaving a comment, communicate to me that you're enjoying. And as long as I know that you are enjoying, I'll continue to get this content out to you. So thanks for watching. Hit that like button, leave a comment below, and go get signed up for that free class or drop me an email.